Blu-ray stacking up, yeah, the collection grows. Singing like nobody's watching, let the good times flow. Movies on repeat, yeah, he living that life. Great guy, big heart, yeah, he doing it right. Screen light glowing while the speakers bang. Sammy G vibing to the scenes and the frames. Love for the art, yeah, the passion stay true. From the first press play to the end credits roll.
Hello all, welcome back to another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel is going to be part 2 of my June 2026 watches. All the films I have watched since part 1 and for the remainder of the month. Yeah, there's a lot of titles here actually. There's like 24 titles, but I might try and get one or two more titles watched since obviously recording this, and then I'll probably piece that together, and then I'll try and get the video out either tomorrow or possibly Wednesday or something. But yeah, I do love making these videos just to showcase what I have been watching per month, wherever that's like first time watches, revisits, or cinema trips, the whole shebang. So I'm just going to get right into it now, guys. There's a lot of films, and some of which I'm probably not going to spend ages talking about. But yeah, definitely looking forward to showcasing what films I've watched since part 1 of this. So yeah, the first film to talk about in this video was a first-time watch of the film All About Steve. Sandra Bullock, Bradley Cooper and Thomas Hayden Church, and yeah, this was decent. This was average, but quite decent, actually. It wasn't a very, laugh out loud, like, sort of, like, belly laughing kind of movie by any means, but it was all right. It was, yeah, just, kind of a easy 90-minute kind of viewing this one, where I didn't really have to think long and hard about what I was watching. It was interesting following Sandra Bullock, who goes on a blind date. I think she does like these crossword puzzles. She goes on a blind date with Bradley Cooper, who is this like cameraman for like this like news crew who kind of travel all over around like sort of the States and that, with like his best friend played by Thomas Hayden Church. Basically after their like brief encounter, Mary, played by Sandra Bullock, decides to go on a road trip to find Bradley Cooper's character Steve, and she tries to like go from heaven to road to find him, even through like messages through this crossword, but it doesn't really go all according to plan. So she goes on a road trip to find him, kind of stalk him in a way, and yeah, he doesn't really know what to make to all of this going on, but he's just doing his job. He's there kind of part of the news team and that. But yeah, this was a decent time. No, I did quite like it. Not going to be a rewatchable one. I did find the side story interesting with Mary when she rescued that young boy who was lost in kind of like in these caves, and he's trapped there, and she's kind of there to rescue him. I found that was probably the more like interesting part of this film, but I thought it was decent. Definitely a pleasant, like, kind of, like, easy watching, like, kind of rom-com, that one. That's All About Steve, and I'm going to give that a 6 out of 10. With Michael Keaton, I've had this sat on the shelf for over a year now, and I watched the film Touch and Go from 1986, and again, this was a nice, pleasant, 90-minute viewing this one. Michael Keaton plays this hockey star. Yeah, he's part of this hockey team, and he one day he's almost gets like mugged by like this gang, and this young member he discovers like he's by himself and he can't find his way home, so he decides to like give him a ride home one day, like give him a lift home there to his apartment, and then he starts to fall for his mother, and his mother, I think, had a bit of a, checkered history with like obviously her ex-husband, but you find one or two gang members are trying to kind of burgle their house and kind of like invade their home sort of thing. So it had a bit of a serious dark side story, but the chemistry between both our main leads here, Michael Keaton, that main actress, I thought they were great in this film. And yeah, and I did kind of like the chemistry between Michael Keaton and the young lad in there as well. So, and when he's playing part of this hockey team as well. So yeah, really did quite enjoy this though. Would definitely go back to this one again in the future. Touch and go. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 there. Really enjoyed the wintry setting with that one as well. Bit of a recurring theme here. Another title that's been sat on the shelf for over a year now, and I thought I would just finally get round to checking this one out. And again, it was only about an hour and 35 or something, and I'm a sucker for British cinema, as you know, guys. And yeah, I did want to finally get round to checking this film out. And with James McAvoy, and I think one of James McAvoy's early roles as well, I watched the film Inside I'm Dancing. Yeah, I thought this was a really sweet little film, actually. James McAvoy and his best friends that move into their own like flat together after being in kind of a residential home. They decide to move into their own like apartment, and yeah, they really hit it off. They're like really good friends. They are they have this their care worker, their support worker coming in every day to like help them like get by in life. And yeah, I think the guy, I think called Rory, I think he starts to really have a, you know, like a close attachment with the like the carer, the support worker in this one. And she's a beautiful lady actually in this film as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think Ollie said he really liked this film, and I can see why. I thought it was a beautiful little film, this one. Yes, set in Ireland, and James McAvoy, who is a little bit off the boil at times in this film, but you can see why though. He's a bit fed up with certain struggles that he's had going on, and he just wants to kind of build his own independence. And I think there was a really kind of important message behind all of that. But yeah, one highlight of this film for me was when they had the costume party, and they go to this Halloween costume party. Yeah, really did enjoy this one. I definitely will go back to this one again in future. The film Inside I'm Dancing, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 there. Then I finally watched the original 1932 Island of Lost Souls, and yep, I quite liked this one as well. I've had it on Blu-ray for over 2 years now, so I thought I would finally knuckle down and watch it. It only clocked in for 70 minutes, so I think I was gonna head to bed shortly that night, so I wanted to watch something about clocking in like kind of a decent runtime there. And yeah, really enjoyed. Again, it was Charles Launton who was in this film. I really did like the makeup and the designs with some like these experimental scenes, and I think you had these cavemen that was in this film as well. But yeah, the setting with the island was very intriguing, especially when you see kind of these these sort of like these creatures, these animals start to evolve and adapt. The whole evolution thing that goes on in there in this film. And the main actress in there was a great addition to the story. Did like the love interest. I found this to be kind of ahead of its time as well. But yeah, again, that ending, I can remember being pretty daunting as well. And yeah, like I say, the costumes, the makeups, the layout of this island, I found all peculiar. So Island of Lost Souls, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 there. Ginger Snaps, yeah, I talked about this in a lot more in-depth in the Unwatched Shell series, but yeah, I found this a very entertaining like werewolf movie, kind of not done on like a mega budget, and yeah, I just found it, you can tell it's very 2000s-esque and that plastered on it, but yeah, I just found the whole chemistry between the Fitzgerald sisters was interesting, kind of their fixation with death, and that they're kind of growing up. They're based in like this suburban part there, and of I think Canada, and yeah, like when they like one kind of is taken victim, and they've got to take it into their own hands. They're about to, you know, like and become like this like kind of this werewolf, and then you see things start to spiral out of control, unravel, and when the next victim's going to be taken there. I found this, yeah, just a very good werewolf movie, and I'm gonna rewatch this one again probably around the Halloween season, because I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm probably up for checking out the 2 sequels as well. So yeah, Ginger Snaps, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10 there. Angel's Egg, I went with my friend Mike. Did you see that? So, yeah, Mike is a massive fan on like anime, and I really have enjoyed what I've seen with anime too as well. I'm going to be totally honest, guys. Whilst I appreciated this film and it was something different, overall as a story, I just didn't find this one very interesting. Like, there was a lot to admire, obviously the animation style, the way it was kind of, you know, sketched and like layered out as well, and kind of like what was it again with the whole like kind of knights and that, and then you have the fish and that, and I just found again the kind of the layout with this kind of suburban sort of like deserted sort of city. I kind of admired all of that, but I just found it a bit dullsville again. Just when you're following like this young girl, and she's kind of protecting like this egg, but you've got this young lad who's come from like, I think this other alternative world or this other planet to kind of seek the truth, and I think he's looking out for like this dove, and yeah, I didn't find both the characters very engaging to watch. It was 70 minutes, I think this film was, but it felt like it was getting on a couple of hours. It just wasn't a very interesting story. But I will say it's definitely one I think I do need to go back to in the future though, and see if my opinion does change on it. And thankfully the film is only 70 minutes, so if I do want to watch it again, and if I don't end up liking it again, I only took 70 minutes out of my time to watch this again. But yeah, just nah, I found a lot of it quite boring as well. Just didn't really do much for me, that one, but it was still good to go with Mike though, and I think Mike actually, enjoyed it a bit more than I did, which was good to see. And I know Mike is a big fan of anime, but yeah, this film, Angel's Egg, I'm going to probably give it a 5 out of 10. Wasn't for me, unfortunately, that one. But I had a rewatch at Tyneside Cinema that day as well. I rewatched Requiem for a Dream, only seen this the once, and that was like over 10 years ago, so I was long overdue a rewatch of this one. And this is just a fantastic, exhilarating, bleak, devastating, beguiling sort of film, this one, from through the vision of Darren Aronofsky. And I'm not a huge Jared Leto fan, I will say, but he definitely gives probably one of his best performances in this, and Jennifer Connelly is fantastic in this film as well. It's great to see Marlon Wayans as well is a great supporting role. It's absolutely bleak and harrowing what happens with Ellen Bernstein's character, where she's again thinks she's entering kind of this competition, this quiz show, and yeah, you just go see her go on a right downfall, and it's quite a harsh watch. But yeah, when you see these characters and then you see the drug addiction gets the better of them, showcases how harrowing and bleak drug addiction can be in this film, and I just think the music as well really amplifies that. The music from Clint Mansell is absolutely amazing in this film. In a similar vein to something like Magnolia, where this film also doesn't really give too much room to breathe. It's like moving like an engine and you can't take your eyes off the screen really. But yeah, Requiem for a Dream, really good to see this on the big screen, and I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. I think the acting's fantastic. I would be interested in reading the book from Last Exit to Brooklyn, Hubert Selby Jr. So yeah, I'll be interested in reading the book from the author at some point as well. A bit more up to date now, and I went to the Market Pavilion to go and see Toy Story 5, which I know has been kind of dividing opinion a little bit, this one. Honestly, don't think they're ever gonna recapture the magic of the first 3 films. Guys, let's be honest, I just don't think they're ever gonna top that, aren't they? But whilst I do think this one and the 4th one are the weakest of the film series, I've got to say, guys, the 5th one I still found a very solid entry all the same. I wasn't too sure what I made to that whole new animation style going on there, here and there. I just think, you know, when Bonnie is playing with her toys and they've got that new animation style, like, yeah, I didn't really know what to make to all of that, to be honest. But other than that, it was still a good, solid Toy Story film. I think probably my favourite Pixar film since Luca in 2021. I think this is the best Pixar film since Luca in 2021, in my opinion. Jessie come more into her own here. You know, you learn more about a backstory with Emily when she returns, you know, like home, where obviously where, you know, like you see, that's where Jessie obviously was originally obviously acquainted with Emily. But also it was just interesting seeing the lily pad become like the villain in this one, and AI like kind of taking over, and you see how Bonnie is taking a liking to like this new technology to her as well. And yeah, and Woody, great to see Woody come back, all those multiple buzz as well, because they were buzzing. See what I did there? Really enjoyed the new characters as well, and yeah, it was a very good time at the cinema. And yeah, I just think the 4th one and the 5th one aren't gonna hold the same rewatchability as those first 3 films. But yeah, good solid Toy Story film. I don't know if there's gonna be a 6th one now, but what they did with the 5th one here, I thought they did a very solid job there. So yeah, and I've got to say, Bonnie's parents as well, like I think they are like really cool like additions to like this Toy Story universe as well. So yeah, Toy Story 5, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10 there. Kick-started my summary watch list. Well, you could say Toy Story 5 actually was set around summer as well. But in regards to kind of like the physical media side of it, I kick-started my summary watch list because I did a video about what films I've kind of got on the cards to watch during the summer, and I kick-started it with the film Flashbacks of a Fall. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest, guys, I thought this was just fine for me. I don't think this one's gonna hold a lot of rewatchability for me in the future. I just found Daniel Craig just a bit of an arsehole in this film, to be honest. He was just quite rude to people. I mean, I get like he's kind of under a great deal of pressure. It's like this Hollywood actor that's kind of going on a little bit of a decline in his career. Found out he's lost like one of his like childhood friends there. But yeah, I just found all of that with Daniel Craig wasn't very interesting. But I will say though, when you focus on his childhood and his past in I think is it Brighton, I think in the 70s, I found that was probably the more interesting part of the film, where you kind of flash back to when he was younger, and he meets that lady, and they start to like hit it off, and again like his friendship with that guy who I think he's also got a bit of a thing for this lady that I think is it Joe. I think that main character Joe is also eyeing up that lady. So yeah, and I found that whole seaside town setting was pretty good. The music, when you featured with Roxy Music and Bowie in this one, was entertaining as well. It did kind of leave on a bit of an optimistic ending, that one. So flashbacks are for full. It was not bad. It was all right. Not gonna one I'm gonna come back to a hell of a lot in the future, but I kind of still did think it was fine and a decent watch overall. So flashbacks are full. I'm gonna give a 6 out of 10. But for something far more superior than that, and it just goes without saying, with this film, and Frank Perry, a director, I'm definitely interested in checking out more of his work, because this film I watched for the first time last year and I thought it was excellent, and yeah, probably just that extra bit better for me on this second watch. And that is a rewatch of The Swimmer. Yeah, I think this is a beautiful, fantastic drama, this one. And I think it's because of this film I want to get more into Burt Lancaster's filmography. I just think this is a really good story following this guy who he basically wants to go back home to see his family, and by doing so he decides to go through all his friends like swimming pools and like kind of his ex-lovers like swimming pools as well, in order to get home. So it was just such an original kind of film for its time, although I think it is based on a book as well, which I would be interested in reading the original book it's based on. But yeah, I did like the chemistry between the main guy played by Burt Lancaster and that young girl, that lady Jolie, who's very pretty in this. I found that segment of the movie was probably my favorite part of the film. But yeah, just that music, and that build up to the ending where you find out what's coming his way when he returns home. I just think this is a fantastically acted film, really good. And I just love the scenes where you see Burt Lancaster, he's constantly running around like this field and that, and then he makes like those jumps as well, and excellent movie, that one. Probably one I'm going to try and watch every summer now if I can help it. So The Swimmer, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 there. And yeah, part of the Unwatched Shelf series, I did watch American Pie The Wedding. Yeah, really enjoyed this. Not as good as the first two films, in my opinion, but I still found this a very solid entry. Obviously, Steve Stifler, you could say, was a little bit over the top in this, and he was a little bit out of character at times. Interesting to see the direction he took with his character. Great to see Jim and Michelle tie the knot in this film. And Eugene Levy as Jim's dad, probably, again, my favourite character in this film series. The whole build-up to the wedding was just good fun. Again, spoken a lot about this in the Unwatched Shelf, but very solid third entry, and I'm really looking forward to getting onto American Pie Reunion in due course as well. So American Pie The Wedding, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. Going back to my summary watch list, and a film that Ash recommended, Popcorn and Horror, and I'm pretty sure Andy has spoken about this one in like a previous live stream or video there as well, and that is the film Lucas. This was an excellent drama, this one, sports drama, coming of age drama. I thought this was a brilliant little film, this one, where you focus like Corey Haim, who he's 14, he's got these fascinations with is it like these tadpoles, I think it is, or these these crickets. He's got a bit of a fixation with that, and then one day out of the blue he sees Kerry Green, is it, playing, who's absolutely stunning in this film. Wow. She is a fox in this film, is Kerry Green. She is beautiful. One day Lucas discovers her playing like badminton, like tennis, and they start to build a bit of a close friendship. And I will say, I think I would have preferred it if it was just Lucas and Kerry Green's character, mainly just like obviously where you kind of focusing on them, rather than when Charlie Sheen comes into, well, no, Charlie Sheen did play a good supporting role to this, but then you get Winona Ryder, but then you see Lucas would be spending time with Winona Ryder, and then he's obviously got his friendship with like Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen is having a little bit of a rocky relationship with his love interest in this film. And then, you do see Lucas and Kerry Green. They're very in and on and off kind of in the film. Like, are they friends? Are they not friends? I think I would have just rathered it being kind of them as my best friends throughout the film. Very good film. Again, great recommendation from Ash, and one I think I discovered through Andy's channel as well, a couple of years back now. And loved the scene when I went to like the cinema, and again when Charlie Sheen is just sticking up for Lucas and his best friend played by Kerry Green in that. I think that's a great part of the film. But then when Lucas, he goes into American football as well. Really enjoyed the prom night setting with this one as well. So Lucas, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10. Very good film, that one on the whole. I had a few rewatches here, part of the summer watch list. A film I've spoken on the channel more than once. But I decided to go back and rewatch Adventureland. I must say, guys, this film, whilst it's still good, don't get us wrong, I don't think it's that excellent film as I used to think it was all them years ago. But that being said, I still think it is a very good and solid indie drama all the same there. I think it's just one of these I think I used to love and I used to watch over and over. But returning to it years later, when I went back and rewatched this last year, I still think it's good, but just not as good as on previous viewings. But no, I still really enjoyed this again on rewatch. Very good, solid indie drama, and a bit similar to Lucas actually. I think Jesse Eisenberg and Kirsten Stewart, I would have rathered it just been them as obviously either close friends or their own like love relationship throughout the film, rather than Kirsten Stewart is spending time with Ryan Reynolds, and then Jesse Eisenberg is spending time with that beautiful lass in that film. Is it Lisa P? I think it is. So I think I found all the stuff between Kirsten Stewart and Ryan Reynolds a little bit fillerish, but it's still a very good film. I love the supporting cast with obviously Bill Hader and Kirsten Wiig in this film as well. Again, that 1980s aesthetic is well captured here. Great soundtrack. That set with the whole theme park as well. I quite like the comedic scene as well where Jesse Eisenberg is running away from this gang and then Bill Hader just loses his shit out of the blue. That is quite a comedic scene, but yeah, definitely one I'm going to keep coming back to again around the summer if I can help it as well. So Adventureland, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. I had a rewatch of, I'm going to be honest though, I think I may have preferred this on second viewing, because when I first watched this film, I thought it was okay, a little bit average, as average gets, but when I went back and rewatched this after a number of years, I've got to say I did much prefer this on that second viewing, which sometimes second viewings really can make the difference, can't it? And yeah, I did actually enjoy this extra bit more on second viewing. Days of the Bagnalled Summer. Yeah, when I first watched it, I thought it was okay, a bit average, nothing to write home about. But yeah, I watched it again and yeah, I think I did prefer this a lot more on second viewing. You know, you follow this guy who basically he's got plans that he's going to go to Florida over the summer, but his dad and his fiance wife aren't quite ready for the main guy to come to Florida yet. So basically over the summer, like his like the main guy is like at home basically with his mother. I think his mother, I can't remember what is his mother cleaner in this film again? I can't remember. Sorry, guys. Librarian. Sorry, his mother's a librarian in this film. A bit of a bond with this. I think the Welsh teacher in this film, the history teacher. So I found that a bit of an interesting side plot. But also when the main guy is wanting to start like his own heavy metal band and he auditions for this heavy metal band. The only major gripe I've got with this film though, guys, I'm not a fan of Belle and Sebastian, and Belle and Sebastian's songs featuring this film, and I don't know, just as a band, Belle and Sebastian have just never done it for me, unfortunately. But yeah, like I was listening to their songs again whilst watching this film, and yeah, they as a band, I appreciate them, but they just do nothing for me personally. So that's my only major gripe of the film. But it was good to see Tim Key in this. A bit of a British hidden gem there. Simon Bird's only directorial film. And it's a very solid British hidden gem there. So Days of the Bagnalled Summer. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 there. 8th Grade. Yeah, I've spoken about this a few times on the channel. If I'm ever going to watch this, it's always going to be around the summer, because it's got that real summery feeling about it, you know, and yeah, following Kayla, who's got like her own YouTube channel. She's a bit shy. She's about to go into, I think, middle school in this film, and about, I think, high school, I think, and then, yeah, then she kind of has a good friendship, I think, with this girl called Olivia and her circle of friends, and yeah, and then when she feels she's a bit, you know, kind of sort of neglected by like a circle of classmates in a school year, and yeah, like when she's about to enter like high school, middle school, she yeah, starts to hang out with like Olivia and like her friends there. And I love the chemistry between Kayla and Josh Hamilton as the father. Josh Hamilton's probably my favourite character in this film. I love it when he goes into that monologue and he talks about how much being a father means to Kayla. I just think that's a beautiful part of the film. But yeah, I just think, again, like the modern music side of it as well, the colour grading, that I just think it really just works wonders for what an A24 film can do and achieve. 8th Grade, I think, is an excellent film. I think Ollie would really enjoy this film as well. I have recommended this to Ollie, and yeah, I think he would enjoy this film. And this film, yeah, directed by Bo Burnham there. So yeah, 8th grade, I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10. I think this is a wonderful film. And yeah, one I'm definitely going to keep coming back to. And if I ever do, it will be around the summery time of year. Then a couple more of Ash's recommendations, and I watched the film Swimming Pool from Francis Ozon, and yeah, I thought this was a really good like sort of drama, this one, where you're following like this novelist, this writer, and the same actress who I think was in Benedetta and Broadchurch. And she goes to France to like work on a new novel. I think Charles Dance is like the head boss of this like publishing company. She decides to visit like his like holiday home in this resort in France. She discovers that like Charles Dance's daughter in the film has a bit of like odd behaviour, some strange behaviour. She's hanging around with this guy and stuff, and you know, like getting really drunk, and she's yeah, like having some, and the main lady in this film's having sleepless nights, but they start to try and make amends all the same. But then you find this main writer in the film is working on a new novel, and it is about Charles Dance's daughter, and that makes for a bit of a cunning thriller kind of edge to this film. And you're waiting for Charles Dance's daughter to find out about her new novel and what's it about. And yeah, I found this a very good drama, this one, super underrated. Like I say, I didn't know about this film until Ash kindly recommended me this film. And yeah, great recommendation, Ash. I would definitely get this one on Blu-ray, actually. I don't know if this has got a Blu-ray release, but if it did over here in the UK, I would definitely happily upgrade this one to Blu-ray, because I really enjoyed this, and I do want to get onto this director's other films. I think this director did a film called 5x2, so I'll probably get onto that film quite soon after watching the film Swimming Pool. So yeah, I'm going to give that a 7.5 out of 10 there. Now, I've got to be honest, Ash, I appreciate you recommending me this film, mate, and I really, really do appreciate, Ash. You know, I think you're a great judge of film, and you've got fantastic taste in films, like many of you guys as well. And yeah, I can see why Ash recommended me this film, so I really appreciate the recommendation, Ash. And all the same, I'm still glad I watched it. But the film Dreamland, yeah, as I say, most of Ash's recommendations, I've got nothing but very good positive things to report back on. This film, however, mate, I kind of struggled it with. Don't get us wrong, I appreciated it. I will definitely keep in the collection. I do want to see if my opinion does change on this one on second viewing, Ash, and you never know, Ash. My opinion might change on this one on second viewing. But yeah, this one I didn't get on with, sadly. I found it very middle of the road, whereas, you know, someone like Sean Baker, who does something like the Florida Project, where it's mainly set around this castle hotel, there's a lot of characters I find engaging, and like kind of their day-to-day life. I find that very engaging to watch, and, you know, and I think it just helps with, you know, like when you're interested in what's going on and the characters that are on screen there. Whereas this film, however, whilst I appreciated the filmmaking side of it and the colour grading, it did look really good for a DVD quality, mind you, mate. I did find the DVD transfer pretty pin sharp to this one. Yeah, I just didn't find many of the characters that engaging to watch. I did quite like the main friendship though between these two main ladies in this film. Like, this lady's wanting to go to college, but she's got to look after her father who's ill, all on his own in this trailer. And when you get Justin Long, who comes into the picture, like, you see the main lady starts to fall for him, but then her best friend starts to does the same. So you can see how that goes. But yeah, I just found this film a bit boring, unfortunately. Again, like I say, Ash, I do still all the same appreciate you recommending me this film. I can see why you did as well, because it is an indie drama, and I thought I was going to like this one a lot more, but yeah, just a lot of this film just didn't do all that much for me. But I'll still keep it in the collection. It was, I think, only 80-minute long, so I'd happily go back to this one again in future, and hopefully I'll see in a different light, because speaking of the Florida Project, was the Sean Baker film I was talking about there. I detested that film on first viewing, and I went back and rewatched it and fell in love with it, and I think it's now a 4.5, 5-star film for me on Letterboxd. So you never know, mate. It might be that case where I might appreciate more on second viewing. So Dreamland, still thanks for the recommendation, Ash. I'm going to give that film a 5 out of 10 there. Right, and then I had a rewatch of Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Yeah, I thought I would add this to my summary watch list. And yeah, this is still very good on rewatch. Seen this a handful of times, but not seen it for a few years. And yeah, I actually checked out the extended version, which I don't think I've ever watched the extended version of this. But yeah, this is really like very good comedy drama. This one, like, kind of a tragic sort of comedy sort of film where you focus on Jason Segel, and he's had a bit of a car crash of a relationship with Sarah Marshall, this sort of like this hotshot actress, and they've just split up. He's kind of on that road to recovery. Again, it was great to see Bill Hader crop up in this film as well. I actually forgot he was in this film, to be fair. Like, forgetting Sarah Marshall, I was forgetting Bill Hader was in this film. Not a fan of Russell Brand. I just don't find Russell Brand that funny. But yeah, I mean, he was there, I guess, as Aldous Snow, I think, in his film. Great appearances from the usual suspects like Jonah Hill and Paul Rudd, who crop up in, you know, they always cross over with films like Jason Segel and that. Interesting kind of when he goes away to like Hawaii, he's kind of trying to drift away from like his kind of checkered history with Sarah. But then, yeah, he's tried all his might to get away, and you feel sorry for him, bless him. But then he starts to blossom a bit of a close friendship with Mila Kunis, who is beautiful in this film. She's a fox in this film. Whole Dracula the musical side of that film I quite found quirky and a bit eccentric, but I quite got on board with that. But yeah, very good on rewatch. Some cracking comedic moments. That scene where is it when Jason Segel is about to jump into the water, and that is quite a comedic scene, isn't it? So yeah, I'm forgetting Sarah Marshall. I'm gonna give a 7 out of 10 there. 21 over. Yeah, just rewatched this after a number of years, part of the summer watch list, and I still quite enjoyed it though. It was still good. Comedy film, again, where you get this main guy and he's about to go to an interview at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine going to an interview at 7 a.m? Crikey. But anyways, yeah, his father's pretty strict and he's going to collect him the next day for this interview, but he's just turned 21, and his two best friends, Miles Teller and that other guy, they take him out for a night out on his 21st birthday. And as you expect it, shit hits the fan and things go a bit out of hand. And then they've got to try and go on the search to get him home, all sober up for the interview the next day. And yeah, like I say, guys, not as funny or as good as I remembered it, but it was still good to go back and revisit this one. Again, some very comedic elements. Obviously, the trampoline scene, and then is it the bullfight scene as well? Yeah, and then when obviously the main dad in that film, and where the Miles Teller and his best friend are basically trying to distract him so they don't find out like his son is on on this pub crawl. Yeah, there was some good comedic scenes, but yeah, I will say probably not one of my favorite American comedies, but it was still good and enjoyable. 21 and over, I'm gonna give a 6.5. Lady Bird, I pretty much watch this every year, to be honest, if I can help it. And yeah, absolutely fantastic film. Seen it a number of times, and yeah, just a great coming of age story with this one, set in the early 2000s with Cyrese Ronan as Christine Ladybird, and she's auditioning for like the play of the Tempest, I think it is, and her best friend Beanie and Feldstein, they've got a really like cute friendship in this film, and I think Beanie Feldstein, she's got a bit of a thing for this like this teacher. Christine's got a bit of a thing, well, for Lucas Hedges and then Timothy Chalamet in this film. And yeah, interesting kind of dysfunctional family plot in this one as well. Because you see Christine's father sadly gets laid off from work, and you see, I think Christine's like adopted brother working at like this grocery store, and like her mother is like a nurse in this film. So yeah, you've got some interesting personalities in this one. Beautiful message towards the end, but really good on rewatch as ever. This is definitely one of my favourite A24 films, and probably one of my favourite films from the last 10 years, I would say. I would even go as far to say that. So Lady Bird, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10 there. I had a first time watch of Indian Summer. Yeah, I didn't hear about this film until Ash spoken about it. I'm going to be honest, on this first time viewing, I didn't love this one as much as I hoped for. This circle of friends that are like coming together after like 20 years. Like they like reunited after 20 years, and they used to go to this summer camp growing up, like back in like the 70s and that, when they were like youngsters. And yeah, they've just reunited after 20 years, and the leads of this summer camp is Alan Arkin, and probably my favourite character in this film. Yeah, I think a lot of this film did feel a little bit, you know, so it wasn't to write home about. I think a lot of the characters I didn't find all that engaging, but it was interesting to learn where they are today, why they've just come back after 20 years, and I did find that interesting all the same, and for that I would definitely happily return to this one in the future. Really enjoyed the autumnal like red colours in this film. They're very vibrant. And it was, like I say, great to see Bill Paxton in there, Elizabeth Perkins. Yeah, so there was times in this film that felt a little bit middle of the road, but there's enough there that I did enjoy enough, and definitely happy to say, Ash, this was a good recommendation. I definitely will return to this one in the future. I can definitely see why you really like love this film, because yeah, fair play, mate. It is a very solid watch, and whilst I probably didn't love this film as I hoped for in that first viewing, it was still one I did still had a decent time with all the same there. So Indian Summer, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10 there. I think I would have liked to seen more of the summer activities side of it, to be honest. But I guess with the age they are, I can understand that they probably would just more sit down and kind of catch up, like old friends from way back when. So I guess that was the whole point of that film. But yeah, decent watch, that one, Ash, Indian Summer, and definitely will be keeping that in the collection. Had a recommendation from Holly, who works at Tyneside Cinema, and I think I bought this on DVD last year, but I don't think I ever got round to watching this one summer last year, so I thought I would watch it this year. And that is the film Me Without You, with, trying to think, Michelle Williams, the other main actress. She's great in this. And you've also got an appearance from Kyle MacLachlan. And yeah, I gotta say, like Indian Summer, I didn't love this one on first viewing, but this was still pretty decent all the same, no. Again, just a good look at like these two best friends. They kind of think they're gonna be the best of friends for all eternity, and they make that sort of that promise with both of them back in the early 70s, and when they're growing up like in London, and you see again they're growing up, and both, I think, is it Marion and Holly, each of them, like, you know, they go kind of separate directions. I think they would go like to university, or they would get like new jobs and that, but also like you find the film does fast forward. I didn't realise this film had a bit of a time jump, actually. It went to like from 1972 to 1978, then it went to 82 to 89, then way to present day. So I found that quite interesting. Holly, I think, played by Michelle Williams, she goes out with this guy, and then is it Marina? She starts to fall for her professor, played by Kyle MacLachlan in this film, and I love Kyle MacLachlan. It was great to see him in this film. Again, more Kyle MacLachlan films, please, guys. If you've got any more recommendations with Kyle MacLachlan, that'd be much appreciated. But yeah, I will say there was a lot of downbeat elements, which I think was the whole point of the, like, you know, to showcase kind of the highs and lows of like this close friendship. But great soundtrack. It was great to see this film set around like kind of the post-punk scene in the late 70s. I think I spotted Rattlers by the Stranglers in one scene, which is potentially my favourite album ever. It's definitely well up there. But yeah, again, did leave on a bit of an optimistic note, this one. And yeah, good recommendation from Holly at Tyneside Cinema. I definitely, whilst I didn't absolutely love it on first viewing, and it wasn't that really great film for me personally, I still did enjoy it though, and it was super well acted. Definitely one I'll be keeping in the collection. So Me Without You, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10 there. The Kings of Summer. Now, I only watched this film for the first time last year. I think it would have been a bit obscene to not have the summer watch list without this sort of thing. The summer watch list without this, I should say, if I can get my words right there. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't absolutely love this film, guys, but I think I've grown an appreciation for this one on more on second viewing. And yeah, it's a really like solid like indie drama, great sort of coming of age story there about these three best friends, and they work on this summer project and building like this tree house, and you know, like living out in the wilderness during the summer. I don't know what time periods this film is set in, I must confess, but when you see these three amigos, they spend time away from home, and you see how that it kind of impacts on each of their families and their parents as well, and they get involved with kind of this search party, kind of like seeing how these three best friends are kind of functioning with like living out in this rainforest, this like wilderness, and they're building this tree house. But then, yeah, really like it when they're kind of banging these this pipe. They're pretending like it's the sound of this drum. Yeah, I did quite enjoy that, and yeah, seeing where they are at the tail end of this film as well. And Nick Offerman, who's a bit of a grumpy guy in this film, you can't help but love him in this film all the same there. So yeah, did really enjoy this one on rewatch again. The Kings of Summer, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Rocket Man for the first time, which I went into a lot more in depth in that episode of Your Watch Shelf, but yeah, I thought this was a very good biopic of Elton John, led brilliantly by Taron Egerton, and yeah, it was just interesting learning about Elton when he was like a youngster, his love for like classical music, and you know, like doing these piano lessons at the Royal Academy of Music, his kind of checkered history with his father, learning about his family life, but then when he became a pop star and, you know, like kind of this well-revered, well-significant musician that he is known still as today. And whilst I'm not a huge Elton John fan, admittedly, guys, I think this film has made me want to go back and definitely re-listen to Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, because I've always have loved that album. Even if I'm not a huge fan of Elton, I can't deny it. That is a superb seminal classic album from 1973 there. And yeah, it was great to see the likes of Jamie Bell, Stephen Graham in this film as well, Breeze Dallas Howard, so yeah, and Dexter Fletcher. Definitely interested in checking out Sunshine and Leave or Eddie the Eagle at some point after watching this as well. So Rocket Man, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. And the last film to talk about for this video is going to be, I thought quite fitting, as I kind of mentioned like a while ago, I was going to try and watch this film for this month, and I did finally watch Junebug. Mike Morrison, who I don't think's made too many films. I think he's directed this film and another film, but yeah, he's got quite a sort of like a bit of a, yeah, like kind of like not a huge filmography there, but still, obviously, he's still went out and made one film to another, and fair play to the guy nonetheless. Decent indie drama. I do remember Ash recommending me this one a little while ago now, and I thought, yep, it obviously, we're coming to the tail end of June. I thought I would get this one watched before June ends. There were times in this film where it was a little bit boring and not a great deal happening, but it was just kind of a good, like, kind of character study, and you're learning about this family that live in like this outback area, this like kind of art dealer. I think her name's Madeline, and she's does a lot of outside art, and she's trying to strike up a deal at this art gallery where she meets her to-be husband George, and then George introduces her to his family and his brother Johnny, his fiance, I'm trying to think of a name, Ashley, played by Amy Adams, is pregnant. Johnny, I think, is like this accountant, or like, I think he works partly as an accountant in this film. Very well acted, like, as I say, not a film that I'm going to come back to an awful lot, but I'm glad I finally watched it now. And again, as I say, Amy Adams got nominated, I think, for Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars at the time, and I can totally see why. Interesting, like, religious aspects as well. The ending kind of leaves a bit of an open door to kind of what could have happened. When this pairing are kind of going, like, on this, embarking on this new chapter. So, yeah, solid indie drama. Junebug, I'm going to give a 6.5 out of 10 there. So guys, that is pretty much all the films I've watched in June 2026 there, because I think I am going to be watching the Stop Making Sense concert film at Tyneside Cinema tomorrow. But if I do end up watching another film tomorrow on the 30th of June, I'll probably will include that in my at the start of my July 2026 watches part 1. But yeah, June was a really solid month for movie watching yet again here. Some awesome first time watches, some not so awesome first time watches, but there was a lot of rewatches, and yeah, great to kickstart the summary watch list, and long may that continue as we head into July 2026 there. And who knows, maybe it will be coming home after all. So guys, do let me know in the comments what's your thoughts on any of these movies I have talked about for part 2 of June 2026. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm talking at the back of my head with some of these films? Do let me know in the comments down below, guys. And as I say, that's the fun of it all, isn't it? That's definitely part of the fun of it all. Try and do a new Blu-ray haul video, because I haven't done a Blu-ray haul video for a little while now, and I want to try and do my top 10 favourite films of the 1960s. So I think I'm gonna aim those to be my next couple of videos. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what July 2026 has to offer on the horizon there. So yeah, guys, hope your June 2026, it was absolutely fantastic. And I'm wishing you all a wonderful summer ahead, a wonderful July 2026 ahead as well. And for movie watching, but life in general as well, guys, I hope you have an absolute swell summer and a swell July 2026 ahead. And I'll be back for more content soon there. So thanks for watching, cheers for stopping by, and until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye, take care guys, thank you so much.